Hello, hello, and welcome to today's talk with wonderful Jessica Derksen. Today is day 4 of the Women Thrive Summit, and I can't believe we already running so fast. Well, I'm so excited to have Jessica today. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Raymonda. I'm so excited to be here.
I am so glad you have the opening talk for day 4, and today we will be talking about how to be the hero of your story. Now, I just want to say that throughout the summit, our speakers have shared some really powerful, moving, motivating, inspiring talks. And today is not going to be different from what we have seen. Today's talk is going to be really special because in this very forum, Jessica is sharing her story with you ladies for the very first time. So I hope you enjoy this talk, how to be the hero of your story. This is personal story. I invite you all to share something in a chat and engage throughout this conversation, throughout this talk. Let us know where in the world you're joining us from. How's your experience of the Women Thrive Summit so far? I'd love to hear from you, and let us know where in the world you are so we can connect, so people in the audience can connect with you too. So just a little bit about Jessica, if you haven't met her yet. So Jessica Derksen is the founder of True to Your Lifestyle. Jessica is a transformational coach, speaker, facilitator, author, and mentor to women in business, and the host of True to You podcast. Jessica's purpose is to encourage, inspire, and offer tools to help women to be the hero of their own story. She focuses on helping you master your habits, changing your thoughts, rewriting your story, and transforming your life to live a life that you love while feeling incredible from the inside out. Jessica, welcome.
Thanks, Raymonda.
Well, let me see who's in the chat. We're going to begin just shortly. I know people will be joining throughout. So we've got Denise. Hi, good morning, Denise. Good to see you. Finally, you got to join us. Ellen is here. Good to see you, Ellen. Ontario, Canada. Carrie's here from sunny UK. Yay, at least someone's got sun. It's been pouring rain here in Spain. Jacqueline is here. Denise from Oregon. The speakers have all been such powerful talks, and my joy has been lit this last 3 days. The networking session on Tuesday was brilliant, and the connections was wonderful, amazing. We got another networking session on Friday, and Aloha is joining us from Edinburgh. Right, Jessica, I'm going to put the spotlight on you. I'm going to take myself off. I'm so honored to have you on our platform, and I look forward to hearing your talk.
Thank you so much, Raymonda. I'm so excited to be here with you ladies. And I want to start off by saying that you are all the hero of your own story, right? The power to create the life of your dreams, that's always been yours to use. You just need to stop telling yourself and everybody else around you in your life the same old stories. So ladies, I believe it is time that we end our self-sabotage. We raise up our voices. We let go of all of our judgments. We be free. We live the life we love, and we become and are the hero of our own stories. I think that so many of us, we settle for what we call, we just assume it's our lot in life. Right? But the truth is that our everyday experience is really just an accumulation of the habits, the thoughts, and the patterns of behaviors and the beliefs that we've repeated so often over and over and over again, that it just seems like some unchangeable absolute that we just call, the way things are. But nothing could be further from the truth. I really think to create any kind of meaningful change and growth within your life, you must start from within, making the changes first at that belief level, changing your perspective. And we're going to talk a lot about perspective today, writing a new story in your life and really working your way out. So I'm Jessica Derksen. As Raymonda said, I'm the founder of the True to You Lifestyle. I am a lifestyle coach, a mindset mentor, and my purpose in life is to really offer tools and inspire women to empower themselves to be the hero of their own story, and doing all of this while feeling incredible from the inside out. I am such a believer that when we feel really good internally, we do really great things in our external world, and we like reach those results that we would love in our life. But I have definitely not always been this way. I have played the victim role in my life for more years than I care to admit to. And one of the things that I've realized is a lot of women do this. A lot of people do this. So I was raised in a family who they were wonderful people, great people, but they were the kind of people who are always focused on the bad. They're always focused on what's going wrong in the world, what's not working out for them. Every little thing is really like the end of the world. It's such a big deal. Even the other day, I just got a text from we have a group chat, and my sister was texting about how awful it was, how annoyed she was because she made her kids school lunches and then found out that, oh, they're going to online the other day. And she was so upset by this. Like everything is out to get her, everything in the world. She's that victim, right? So that was just something that's so awful. So in her mind, in her perspective. Anyway, so I grew up with this really kind of negative perspective about the world around me. I grew up always focused on all those small things that just weren't working out, that were annoying, that were terrible. I had a really negative view about the people around me and really just kind of negative view about myself. So I was the younger sister, but I was also the bigger sister, which people love to point out. I was constantly commented on my weight. And so of course, this really started to affect me from a young age as I started to grow up. And I created these beliefs about myself growing up that were not very positive because of that. So I had really poor habits, extremely poor habits in the people that I spent time with, poor habits in the people that I allowed in my life. Had really poor habits about what I was consuming, food, drugs, alcohol, activities that I took part in, really bad habits around that, really bad habits around my thoughts. So at a young age, I turned to drugs because, everyone in my life was kind of doing it at that time. Everyone I went to school with, the people I hung out with. And looking back now, I really didn't think for myself much back then. I was definitely a follower in my younger ages. Plus, and this was a huge part, I thought doing drugs would help me lose weight because if I lost the weight, I would be loved and I would be accepted. And I did, I lost the weight. Along with the weight, I lost whatever little self-esteem and confidence I had left. I lost my drive for life. I lost my motivation to play sports and dance. And I lost my voice. And I didn't have much of a voice then, but I lost the rest of what I had. So I was 18 years old and I'm dating this guy who was the love of my life. Like we had been together on and off for about 3 years now through high school. And I believed we would be together forever, despite the fact that we were not good for each other. We were pretty toxic for one another. But I believed in my core that he was the right one for me. And he was right when he told me no one would ever treat me as good as he does. I believed he was right when he told me no one would ever love me like he does or love me at all. I believed him when he told me he knew what was best for me. And I know this sounds so crazy now, but at the time, that's what I believed. I didn't have very much love or respect for myself at that time. And that showed in everything I did. Each action I took was in alignment with that lack of love and that lack of respect that I had for myself. So I'm 18 years old. I'm working at Subway sandwiches, and my manager comes in and she tells me that she thinks she's pregnant. And as she said that, I'm kind of thinking like, oh, I haven't gotten my period in a while. I don't remember having it. So she offered me one of her pregnancy tests. And for the fun of it, I was like, okay, like I'm not pregnant, but I'm going to take it. And I know, you pee on this stick and you're supposed to wait a few minutes and then you get your results. There was no wait time. It instantly went to positive. So here I am. I'm in the bathroom of Subway mid-shift. I have an awful eating disorder at this time in my life. I'm using drugs pretty regularly. And now I find out I'm also pregnant. And I'll never forget this day. It was January 4th. And I know this because it was my sister's birthday. And my entire family was getting together to celebrate her. So I just pushed this down, pretend it wasn't happening, and I kept on going. So a few days later, I see the boyfriend, the love of my life, and I tell him the news. And I knew this wasn't going to be welcome news in our relationship, but I didn't expect it to go this bad. And I'll never forget the look in his eye. And it's been many, many, many years since then. And I still see the look, like his face just completely turned to a look I've never seen. And it was my fault. And I was so stupid. How could I let this happen? You're so bad, Jess. You're so bad. And he made it very clear, I'm not staying pregnant. And once that was really clear, I went on a drug binge and I drank more alcohol than ever. And I think now with the awareness and growth that I have, I can look back and see, part of me did that on purpose. A part of me subconsciously did that, knowing if I did this, he was right. I couldn't have this baby. I wasn't fit. I was stupid. I was irresponsible. I was bad. So I took action that continued to prove him and my beliefs right over and over and over again. And this is the thing about us humans. We will continue to take an action and we will do the things that we know might not be good or we know aren't in alignment with what we want. But we do it because it's familiar. We do it because, it's super painful, but at least it's a pain that we know, right? We like the familiar. So the worst case scenario at that time in my life was losing this boyfriend, the only person who I believe could ever love me, with the weight on or with the weight off. And the pain of not knowing what it would be like my life without him, that outweighed the pain of staying where I was with him. So I booked the abortion, and a month later I had it. And I don't say that lightly. And I know it's a very controversial subject in the world, but this is my truth and I can't hide it and I can't run from it anymore because I did for so long. And the reason that I'm sharing this with you is because that choice that I made and that decision I made, I judged myself for so long. I hated myself and I had these beliefs about who I was because of that decision. And those beliefs led to very, very, very poor choices that I made in my life. And they led to years of not being able to grow. They led to years of cutting people out, not allowing anyone in. They led to years of mistrust. They led to years of every time I did something good, I would sabotage my progress because I didn't believe I deserved anything good in my life. And I didn't believe I was good enough or worthy enough of the good. And because of all of these beliefs from that moment in my life, from that time in my life, from that season that I lived through, I did not live a great life for a long time. And I share this because we often do this, whatever your story is. We live our stories over and over and over again. And we often live the stories that aren't serving us. We focus way more on the negative than we do on the positive, unless we're intentional. Right? And sometimes we're living these stories on repeat and we don't even know we're doing it. But we need to forgive ourselves. We need to stop judging ourselves because the more we live that story, the more we're showing up in life with that perspective and the more it's holding us back. So do you think me showing up every day in my life with this perspective of being a horrible person, of being so bad, do you think that helped me grow? Right? Do you think hating myself so much helped me achieve anything? Of course not. Of course it didn't. So here's the crazy thing. When I found out that I was pregnant, there was a part of me way deep in there that wanted to, I think, have this baby. There was a part of me that knew I should, but there was a bigger part of me that listened to the boyfriend, that listened to the voice in my head of, you can't do this. We can't do this. Who do you think you are? Right? The voice of fear of losing him. And guess what, ladies? I lost him anyway. So none of that really mattered in the grand scheme of things. But what did matter, most importantly, is I lost my voice. I lost the voice inside of me. I lost the voice to fight, to speak up, to share what I believed in, to do what I wanted to do, what was true to me. I lost all that. I didn't even know. And so today I'm here to help you not lose your voice, help you empower yourself to have that voice, find that voice, use that voice so that you don't make decisions out of fear. So you don't make decisions based on how other people perceive you, right? So that you don't make decisions on those outdated beliefs that you created so many years ago that aren't serving you. so that you don't make decisions based on your old stories and you write a new page, you write a new chapter, you write a new book that aligns with the life you would love, that you want to be living. So I know Coylette gave her incredible talk on Tuesday, and she talked about labels, right? We can just give ourselves these labels and then we just live into these labels. And I labeled myself as being so bad, so awful. I had so many terrible labels for myself. And once I created that label, I just took action that aligned with it. I couldn't thrive in life. I stayed stuck. I stayed exactly where I was for years. And I don't want that for anyone. So we all have a story. So what's your story? What is the story maybe you've been living on repeat that isn't serving you? Are you aware of what's holding you back from the life you want to live? What's holding you back from the business that you want to grow? What's your story? You need to be aware of it so that you can heal from it, so that you can forgive yourself and let it go. And Raymonda, oh my gosh, she is such a beautiful soul, because she truly was the person who helped me realize, hey, no one can judge you when you stop judging yourself. And I stopped judging myself so that I can move on, so that I can live a life I do deserve to live. And I don't let my past hold me in prison anymore. And I don't let my past stop me from going after my dreams or my desires, because we only have one life. We only have one life to live. And if we continue to live the same story that's not helping us thrive or not helping us live the life we want, we're wasting our time. We're wasting our life. So what maybe forgiveness do you need to give yourself? What story do you need to start to view differently? What beliefs do you need to outgrow? And so I'm going to share on how to really work on your beliefs in just a moment. And I want to say that you can't change your past, right? We know this. You can't change your past. I can't change my past. I can't change that season of my life that I lived through, but I can look at it differently. I can stop looking at it from the perspective and point of view that I'm so horrible, that I'm so bad, and start to look at it and view it as, wow, I'm strong. I lived through a really crappy part of my life and I made it out. And I was strong enough to do the work and heal from that. I was strong enough to forgive so I can live a better life. I was strong enough to overcome my drug use and my eating disorders and build a healthy relationship with my body and with myself and fall in love with myself. Like, oh my goodness, I did that, right? So viewing my past from the perspective, I'm bad, versus, wow, I'm strong. I made it through. Those are very different perspectives to view your past, right? One perspective will continue to hold me back in life, and it did for so long. The other perspective will help move me forward. It's going to help me thrive. So we all have a choice, right? We can't change our past, but we can decide and choose to view it differently. So what are your stories? And I have, I'm going to share this link. This is just a free download, all on perspective, to help you get clarity on your perspective, to help you get clarity on if you need a shift in perspective. And so I mentioned beliefs, and I think that it's hard to have a conversation around changing our perspective and being that hero of our story without talking about our beliefs, and specifically our limiting beliefs. So what are the limiting beliefs in your life that, because you believe they are true, you limit yourself from doing what you want to do, limiting yourself from that next level of growth, or limiting yourself from the things you're capable of, right? So a limiting belief is anything that you believe that limits your growth, right? That's limiting your potential. So for me, of course, I'm bad. I don't deserve happiness. I'll never be loved. Those limited my ability to grow and thrive in relationships, in my business, in the world. And listen to me, and I think this might sound crazy to some people, but you don't have to believe every idea that you think, right? And I think we grow up believing all of the thoughts in our mind to be true, but they don't have to be true. And I think a lot of things we think aren't true. Right? And Abraham Hicks, they say, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. It's just a thought you keep thinking. That doesn't make it true. So type in the chat, own it, claim it. Just because I think it doesn't mean it's true. Just because I think it doesn't mean it's true. Type that in the chat. Worked hard on this. I am stupid. And oh, Carrie, thank you for sharing that limiting belief. I am stupid. I had the same one for so many years. And I would skip school just to prove myself that I couldn't get the grades because I was stupid. Just because I think it doesn't make it true. So if the belief that you have limits your ability for growth, then you have to change the belief. Right? You cannot control your past, but you can control the way you see it, and you can control your current thoughts. You can choose to see your past from this victim mentality and continue playing that role like I did for many years, or you can see yourself as that strong woman that got through hard stuff, right? That picked herself up and moved on. You have the choice how you look at it. Own it, claim it. Yes, yes, just because I think it doesn't make it true. So you get to change your beliefs, right? You get to change your perspective. You get to rewrite the story, start a new story. I think the problem is a lot of people aren't aware that our perspective of our reality, our worldview, our judgments, our perceptions, all of that is shaped by our past, right? Things that have happened before, things that we believe, things that we were taught by our families, by, at school, people who've spoken into our lives. So if you don't understand that, if you don't understand that your perspective and your thoughts are shaped from your past, then your mind just starts filling in the blank for you. Right? So maybe you want to start a business. Your mind pulls from your past experiences to create your thoughts of, can you do this or not? Right? Maybe you're going on a first date. If you're not aware of your thoughts and intentional about them, your mind is automatically going into default mode, right? It's pre-paving the beliefs around this first date based on past experiences of other dates you might have been on. So if your mind says to you, all you've ever done is fail, that's going to be your belief. That's going to be your point of view, right? How you see yourself, how you see the world. Your mind might be like, okay, Patrice, you've tried this thing a million times and you fail every single time, right? That's the way that Patrice views the world. And that's what's going to come out in her current reality. And it doesn't matter how many books she's reading. It doesn't matter how many events she's coming to like this or videos she watches. Her belief is always going to be seen through the lens of her past. And this matters because, like I said, you can't change your past, but you can change the way you look at it. You can change your perspective. So today we're looking at our beliefs, we're looking at our perspective and stop thinking that, yeah, all you do is fail. And we're shifting that thought to like, oh my gosh, Patrice, like you really just never get up. You never give up. You have tenacity, you have grit. You've been knocked down 100 times and you keep getting up and you keep going, right? What if Patrice were to shift the way that she sees her past and sees herself? She's no, she doesn't see it as a failure anymore. She sees it as this woman that just keeps standing up, right? Every time she's knocked down, she gets up and she tries a little harder and she does a little bit better. And eventually she just keeps going and going and going, and she gets the results that she would love. She's unstoppable. She recognizes, if I don't stay down, if I stand back up, I am unstoppable. So you cannot control your past, but you can control the way that you see it. So what beliefs in your life are you buying into that are holding you back? And I mentioned that I would talk about how do we break those old beliefs. So grab your pen and paper. I quickly want to cover this because it's really important. So if you have, we all have these beliefs. The first thing you need is that awareness. If we're not aware of our thoughts, we need to notice what you're noticing. This is called metacognition, the ability to notice what you're thinking, notice your thoughts. So you need to have that awareness of your beliefs, identifying the belief that is holding you back. And you have to know what the beliefs are that are limiting you in order to change them. So you're going to start to really pay attention to your thinking. Oh, this must be a belief that I have. Here's a limiting belief. This thought is not serving me. So you have that awareness. Then you're going to recognize, hey, this is a belief. It doesn't have to be true. So you want to find a way to make the belief obsolete. And this is one thing I love doing with my clients. So, we have all these beliefs, and I'll just use a quick example. Let's say you want to do public speaking and you get so nervous and you're like, I can't do it. I'm so bad at it. Every time I get up on stage, I fall or I fumble my words. And so, okay, we want to, make that belief not real. Let's look at the facts. Let's break this down. So how many public speaking events have you done? Okay, let's say you've done 50. How many times have you really fallen on stage? How many times have you really fumbled your words? 4, maybe 5 times. And was the end result any like negative? Was there anything bad that came of it? Probably not. Right? So let's look at that belief. Let's break it apart and prove it's not real, because we have this thing, something happens in our mind that's negative and we go every time. Well, it's not really every time. It happened 1 or 2 times out of 50. So that's a really low percentage. So the awareness, make the belief obsolete, prove it's not real. And now that you've realized the belief isn't even factual, you're going to ask yourself, what's a new, more empowering thought I could have here? What's a new, more empowering belief? And you want it, of course, to be one that aligns with your goals, one that aligns with the life you want to be living. And here's the thing. We are all humans. We aren't perfect. This is not about perfection. It's about growing in awareness. So those little negative thoughts and beliefs, they're going to creep up time to time, right? No matter how much awareness you have, they're going to come up. They're going to creep up. So I want you to all use what I call pattern interrupts. You want to interrupt the thought. And there's so many ways you can do this. A really powerful way is using an up until now statement. So up until now, you're telling yourself that was then, and this is now, and I'm in control. And you fill in the blank with a more empowering belief. So maybe you're on a health journey and it comes into your mind that, why not just skip the gym today, right? You never follow through. You might as well just stop now, give up now, skip it now. So you've noticed the thought, and you say to yourself, up until now, I didn't follow through with my health. But from this moment on, I am choosing. And saying I am choosing, it's so powerful when it's your choice. I am choosing to feel great from the inside out, right? Or I am choosing to feel energized. I'm choosing to put my health as my top priority. Whatever statement that aligns with your life and your goals. Our minds are so powerful. And the more that you do this, the more you use this up until now statement, and you're using that more empowering thought belief, you're repatterning the belief to align with what you want in your life. And eventually you're overriding the old belief. Another really good pattern interrupt is, so I'm a really visual person. So I like to imagine like this thought, it's negative, it's not serving me a purpose. Imagine like ripping it out of my head, and then I throw it on the ground and I stomp on it and I kick it away. And then, of course, I choose a new empowering thought. So there's plenty of pattern interrupts. Like I said, we can connect more and talk about that. Sometimes getting a change of scenery, right? So we need to work on changing the thoughts. And oftentimes when we change our environment, we start to change our thoughts, because our thoughts create our feelings, and our feelings cause us, but however we're feeling, we're going to take a certain action. And based on that action, we're going to get our results. So if we want different results in life, we really need to work on changing the thoughts. And okay, I'm just checking out the time for a second. So ladies, be the hero of your own story. And so I want to invite you today into a new perspective, one that takes you away from that victim mentality that I lived through for many years and allows you to take ownership. And so before I share this new perspective, I really quickly want to talk about ownership for a second, because, and I know a few people have mentioned Rachel Hollis on here, and she talks about ownership in a really powerful way. When I heard her say this, it just really hit home for me. And she says that taking full ownership of your life means you can't blame anyone for anything. So I know I don't put any blame on that relationship when I was younger. I don't put any blame on that ex-boyfriend for the choices I made, for how my life is. Ownership is one of the most powerful things that you can give yourself. You have to take ownership on your past, your present, your future. She says you have to take ownership on your entire life. And that doesn't mean that there aren't people who haven't hurt you. Of course, there are people who've hurt you. Of course, there are bad things that have happened to you, bad things that happen in the world. And she says ownership doesn't take away what's happened. It doesn't make you responsible for any of those things. But it says I can't control what's happened to me, but I can always control my response. I can always control how I show up. And that's what ownership is. So you get to decide how you show up. If you want to be successful in any area of your life, start by taking ownership. If you take ownership, you're taking your power back, because when we blame other people and outside conditions and circumstances, it's like we're giving away our power. We're saying we have no control. Everyone else has control of our happiness, how our life turns out, right? Someone else gets to determine the quality of our life, and we don't want that. So decide to take that ownership. And that was really powerful for me on my journey of growth and transformation and healing. So I mentioned I wanted to invite you to that new perspective, one that takes you away from being that victim in your story. And I think a lot of us, we perceive life, or we have this perspective that life is happening to you, right? Like I was mentioning about my sister, everything happens to her. Life is just throwing all this stuff at her and she has no control. And this new perspective, rather than life is happening to you, says life is happening for you. So tell me in the chat, how does that make you feel? Life is happening for you. And I am it's happening for you. Yes. I'm such a believer that everything in life happens for a reason. I was just having this conversation with my husband last night. We're on a walk and he's talking about luck and coincidence. I was like, no, it's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's for everything has a purpose. Everything has a reason. And I'm not saying we always know what those reasons are, but I believe if we look, we'll find either the learning, we'll find the growth opportunity, we'll find it in the good, the bad, the ugly, the sad, all of it. So everything is for us. Everything is for me. Everything that happens, those are all lessons that we need to be able to grow in our life, to be able to become the best version of who we are meant to be. And I don't have control over the things that happen, but I have control over how I show up, how I respond to things. So being the hero of your story means you decide. You get to decide how you respond. You get to decide how you let your outside circumstances and conditions affect your life. You decide what's going to hold you back and what's going to propel you forward. You decide. You have the choice. You have the choice how you view the world, how you view everyone around you. We all have that choice. We can wake up every day and think, yeah, this world, it's scary. It's a scary place. I don't want to leave today. I'm not going to go outside, right? This person's out to get me. Everyone's out to get me. Or we can choose to look at all the good that's happening around in the world, all the good happening in our own life, in the life of other people around us. So, really quickly, have you ever noticed, maybe you're talking to two people and they witnessed the same incident or they lived through the same experience, but they have two completely different stories, right? They have different stories because they both perceive it differently. And they have different stories because they both look at the world differently. They have a different point of view, a different perspective. So one of them might have this perspective to look for the good in what they see, right? So their version of the story is coming from a positive place. And maybe what happened wasn't their preference, but they're still not focused on all the bad. And the other person might have this perspective. They always look at the world of what's going wrong, what's not working out. Everything's bad. So their version of the story is only focused on what went wrong, what didn't work out, right? So they were together, they saw the same event or witnessed it, or they lived the same experience, but they actually experienced it very differently. So really think about that. So the person who has that perspective, look for the good, see the good, and the focus on, the joy and the positive stuff. Do you think they're growing, they're thriving a little bit more than the other person who's always focused on the bad? And I say this because of what I've noticed in my own life growing up, what I've noticed in the life of my clients and just people that I speak with. Right? If you're always looking at life through the lens of being a victim, you're a victim to the world. Life is always happening to them. The fear of this mindset's going to hold you back. And it held me back for years, right? You might think, oh, I never get what I want. I'm never going to go after that promotion because I never get what I want. People always say no to me. Or I'll never ask the, potential love of my life out because everyone says no to me. So they don't take risks. They don't take chances. They don't grow. So what is perspective to you? What is your definition of perspective? I'd love to hear it. Type it in the chat. I see so many comments coming in and I want to go in and read them all. Do you think your perspective of how you view yourself, the world, your judgments, your worldviews, has it held you back or has it helped move you forward? And again, go check out that perspective, download it. I'll really kind of help get some clarity around this. Once I took ownership in my own life and once I released my own judgments, which was huge, I released judgments and shame. I shifted how I looked at my past. I changed my perspective. I no longer felt like the victim of my past. Instead, I accepted that, hey, I have an opportunity here to change my present moment and to change my future. So I want to wrap up, leave you today with a few tools to really help shift your perspective. So if you need a change in your perspective, if you need a change in your thought process, if you're noticing that the way you're viewing something, your perspective around certain things, is holding you back, the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, is this a story I'm telling myself? Right? Ask yourself, have I felt this way before? Does this feel familiar? Because that's your red flag. There's a strong chance that this experience that you're going through in your present moment, again, it's being colored by the past instead of you treating it like something that's happening right now in your current reality. And just so you know, this is extremely common, right? We all have what's called an internal operating system, or your paradigms. And they need upgrades, just like our computer and our phones, right? They need upgrades. It gets software upgrades. So do our internal operating systems. If we don't upgrade them, they continue to run on default mode, and they use your past experiences to color your current reality. And this is why knowing your limiting beliefs is so important. So we need to upgrade those beliefs. So check in, notice, is this something I'm coloring? Is this my current reality? And I'm pulling in stuff from the past. The second thing to do to change that perspective is to get outside of it, right? Really step outside, change that scenery, and elevate gratitude. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrations we can be at, and it's so powerful. So if you're noticing you're in a lot of negative thoughts, and when someone talks to you and all you're thinking is, oh, I can't believe this. Why are they won't stop talking to me? Or you're just approaching every situation from this negative mindset, this really horrible perspective that isn't working out. Get up and move. Go outside, go for a walk. Maybe it's social media. Maybe you need a break from social media, from things you're consuming, and start to focus on what's going well in your life. And maybe right now that's only one thing that's working out for you. Maybe there's only one thing that's going really well in your life right now. Think about it and really hold on to that and help that bring up your energy. And then say, hey, why am I truly grateful for this? Or why am I so proud of this? Just to really elevate that gratitude. The third thing to do is to choose your perspective and become really strict with your mindset. Mindset is so important. So what do you need? What perspective do you need right now to get the results in your life that you want? What is the perspective you need to have to be successful in your health journey? Or what perspective do you need to take your business into that, maybe next level of financial growth? Right? Maybe you need to stop thinking as yourself as a failure, and life is a failure. Everything is out to get me. It never works out for me. What can you replace that with, right? To be successful in your health or in your business. So the last thing I'll say to change your perspective is to arm yourself with the examples of the perspective that you want. Right. So I hope you all have examples of people in your life that are kind of mentors of someone you want to be, or you look up to them. You're like, oh, I love their outlook on life, or I love their business drive. Right. There's always going to be those negative people in our life. We can't run and a lot of times they're our family. So I'm not saying cut them out, but I'm saying find the people and spend more time with the people who are examples of the person you want to grow into. So spend more time with those people. Arm yourself with the social media that excites you, that motivates you, that energizes you, right? Read the books that help empower you. Right? You can't always control, your family members or people you spend time with, but you can control what you're consuming. So consume wisely. So working on your internal self, rewiring your thoughts, changing your beliefs, updating that operating system, all of it takes a lot of work. It does, but it's worth it. Right? We always think that we're going to end the call and we're going to apply all these learnings. And oftentimes it doesn't happen. So investing in yourself is the most important investment you can make. And so many of you who've been here all week, that is an investment you've made for yourself, for your growth. So I encourage everyone to invest in themselves. This kind of work, it's really hard to do on your own. Get yourself a coach or a mentor, a trained professional to help you with this kind of stuff, to help you with this growth. And this is really important because we all have inside of us internally what's called a pull of patterns, right? And it's our patterns pull at us to keep us where we are. So if we don't have the proper support structures, right, our operating system, our paradigms internally are going to pull us back right to where we are. And that's why having that support is so important. So invest in yourself, check in and ask yourself, with each area of your life, maybe there's an area you're not happy with. Maybe it's your health, maybe it's your business, maybe it's your relationships. And then that's an area you really want to focus on and work on. Ask yourself, where will you be in 6 months from now if you don't make the change starting today? Right? Will you still be in like maybe that same job that you're not happy with? Will you still just be going through the motions of every day, but not really feeling real joy? Will your health take a turn for the worst? Right? Where will your business be? So 80 to 90% of people, they don't follow through on a goal or a dream. And it's not because the intention isn't there. It's not because the desire isn't there. It's because that gravitational pull inside of us is so strong. So say yes to yourself, invest in your growth, continue to show up to these summits, connect with the people who can help you and mentor you and create that tribe. So as I wrap up today, I just want to remind you that a belief is not the truth, right? You claim that, a thought, just because you think it doesn't mean it's real, it doesn't make it true. Everything happens from what we're creating in our minds, and we believe it. And like I said at the beginning, we just believe something for so long that it just seems like the way things are. But that doesn't have to be your story. That doesn't have to be your truth. You create your own reality, right? Your perspective becomes your reality. Your perceptions become your reality. Your beliefs become your reality. But you have the power to change that perspective, to change your perceptions, to change your beliefs, to change your reality, to change your life. Marie Forleo, if you know who she is, she says, all beliefs are a choice and choices can be changed. Don't let your past stories define your present moment or define your future, right? You're the only person in your life who's in charge of what happens next and how you show up. And every moment is an opportunity to be the hero of your story. So if you want a different ending, start telling a different story. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you. Hi, thank you. Oh my goodness, the chat is on fire. This is so rich. Colette says, very good talk. Way to start the day off. Denise says, wow, Claudia, love all the practical tools. Jessica, Aloha, you are speaking my language. So I'm a big advocate for elevating gratitude. So powerful. Amazing. I have truly enjoyed this talk, and I honor you for being so open and vulnerable and willing to go so deep within your story in a cause of creating an impact and sharing our audience that it's okay to let go of our old stories and create new, because that's, if you want to move into a new direction, we have to let go. We have to let go of that shame that's holding us back. And I love that you have been willing to stand in your truth today and share your personal story.
Thank you. Yeah, I was saying to Ramonda before we started, I speak often, but I've never really shared this part of my journey before. So I feel honored to you have this platform to share it on.
How do you feel having delivered a baby, as Colette was saying earlier this week, delivered your talk that you have been preparing for so long?
I feel great. I feel good. I feel like I don't even know how to explain it. Like something's just like
Yeah,
at ease.
at ease. Yeah, of course. And I watched the comments come in, and so many women can relate to that story. You may have been through different situations in your life that held you back, that you didn't step into that hero, and you've been a victim of your story for so long, and those things can really play a big part in our choices, as you shared about your own choices after that happened in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we oftentimes think we're like, no, I'm over this. And then you're going through life and you're not getting results you want, or you're not feeling great about life. And then you got to take that step kind of backwards and think, have I really done the work? Have I really healed from this? Have I really stopped playing out that beliefs, that story?
Yeah, belief systems. Wow, what a great way to start the day. Thank you all who are in the comments, in the presence, in this room right now. You are here, you're being supported, and Jessica certainly have held that space for you to reflect, for you to look at within your own personal stories of, are you the hero, or are you still being the victim of your past? Jessica, I know you have shared something in the chat earlier, and I just want you to bring that forward again, the free gift, and how ladies would connect with you.
Yes. So I think I have two free gifts. So the first one was a perspective, and I'll reshare that link, but I have this link ready to go. And this is just free access to a masterclass on habits, but a part of our habits has part to do with our identity and our beliefs. So of course that's going to be mixed in. So there's a code to get it free for Women Thrive. And then yes, that perspective download. It's a really great way to start to get clarity on, it comes from my perspective class that I teach. And it's just a good way to get clarity on where your thoughts are, where your beliefs are, what's holding you back, what's helping you grow, and how to start to make that shift in your life.
Yeah. And how do you see that your life or your clients' lives have changed since doing that shift in your own, in the mindset?
Oh my goodness. I think like, and I love mindset talk, but like completely shifts in their lives and in every area. And so if they're, struggling in their mindset around their relationship and struggling with trust, when they can kind of really understand, where did this stem from? Where did this come from? Because it's not usually often from the partner that they're with. There's like stuff from when we were younger, people in our lives, like I mentioned, right? So starting to view that differently and have that mindset shift. Well, now they can start to open up, trust themselves, trust their partner. And then it creates this beautiful, loving relationship where there's deeper connection. And I see this in their businesses and their health, when they can really start to change how they look at themselves and look at, what it is that they would love in their life, why they want it, what's really holding you back. And let's dive into why that's been holding you back. Because a lot of times, it comes from our past.
Yeah.
Let's kind of do the work from that age almost. And then that helps you grow forward and you can shift that mindset. I don't, believe we should just, say all these affirmations that we don't really believe, because there's that energy that's still inside of you that's like, that's not true, that's not true. I think it's about taking like, this is what I want to believe. Okay, let's start taking small actions every day to help shift that. And then the mind starts to shift, because you're like, wow, I can actually do this. Oh, I really can follow through, right? And it changes that confidence and self-esteem, and it starts to shift the mindset, and then your results just start to change, and it creates a ripple effect in every area of your life.
Yeah, I truly feel, I see it happen. I have experienced it myself. Once we let go, you feel liberated, right? Colette says sharing is liberating, and it really is becoming free of those chains that's holding us back. And it's usually our own mind that holds us back and then sabotage us from taking that next step forward, or being in a relationship and trying to sabotage it, because it's ourselves. It's usually not the partner, it's ourselves.
Absolutely. And just kind of like I shared in my story, I would, every time anything was going really well in my life, I would sabotage it. And that was in relationships. That was in like my career before business, like in friendships. Anytime things were like, it was going so good and it felt really good, I would do something, which at the time I didn't realize I was doing on purpose, but like subconsciously I'm doing this to sabotage, because I didn't believe I deserved it. I didn't believe I was worth that goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, if ladies wanted to get in touch with you, what would be the best way to kind of reach out to you after this event?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram. I'm really active on Instagram. So my handle is at Jessica Derksen Health Coach. I'll put that in the chat. I can also pop my email in there, and if you want to just send me an email. But yeah, definitely, I'm always on Instagram.
If you feel inspired by Jessica's talk, you feel empowered, please feel free to drop her a message on her social media. Let her know, give us some feedback, how much you enjoyed this talk. It's always really appreciated, right? We are standing on stages here to deliver our talks and go vulnerable. And it's just so nice to receive feedback of how this talk has impacted you personally. If there is parts of the story that you could connect to, drop into Jessica's DM and just let her know. Just say thank you for this time and this room and this presence right now. Oh, Jessica, I know you have also included something in our swag bag. So for those who have upgraded to a VIP ticket to get access to all the replays, they also have access to the swag bag. So there is something that you have included in our digital swag bag.
I do. I have two things in that swag bag. So the first one is a complimentary coaching call with me. where we're going to talk about all this stuff. And the other one is a gift voucher. So I do courses every week. So this month, or every month, this month was self-sabotage. Next is the habits. We have goal setting, perspective, all these different ones. So the gift voucher is for 20% off any of the courses or programs in there. So you can go check those out. Definitely upgrade the ticket. I just want to put a little plug in here for that, because I have seen some of the stuff in the swag bags and they're incredible. And like I said, right, we leave these sessions or we leave these summits and we're like, I'm going to do this stuff, and we don't take the action. So use this to your advantage. Like there's so many things that are being offered to you that will help you with your next level of growth. So upgrade that ticket, get those, like all that cool stuff in the swag bag, and it'll really help you on your journey.
Yeah, and these calls, like coaching calls, these are not just sales calls, ladies. These are coaching calls that you can get access to some of the speakers on the stage. And I know they don't come around cheap, and I know we are all busy, but some of these mentors and experts and coaches have actually opened their diary up exclusively for those who are on the summit. So these are coaching calls that you can get access to. The ticket is £97 right now, and the price is going to go up after the summit has ended. So this is your opportunity to upgrade your ticket. Book in the time to chat with Jessica once you have upgraded your ticket. Plus, you get access to all the replays of all the sessions. And I received so many emails this morning saying, oh my goodness, I can't access the replay. I really want to watch that talk from previous days. You got to upgrade your ticket. You want to be part of it fully and experience it. And not only you get previous talks on this summit replay, but you also get access to 2 of our previous summits of 2021 and 2020. And Jessica, you were on our stage, I think 2020.
Yeah, the first one.
And you're back again, and it's amazing, and just it's so nice to see how much you have evolved, and also now being able to really go much deeper in and share something even more personal with our audience. So if you have upgraded your ticket, go back to 2020 Women Thrive Summit and watch Jessica's talk there. Iman says, thanks all the ladies for multiple opportunities, powerful and realness. This was awesome. Thank you, Denise. I hope you get to join our next talk. So next up, I will be talking about how to become international speaker, some insights and tips about public speaking. I think you're going to be enjoying this. If you're thinking about becoming a speaker on the Women Thrive Summit, I highly encourage you to join the next talk. We are going to be switching over to next Zoom in just 8 minutes. So do make sure you take a little break and join me for the next session to hear a little bit more about how to become an international speaker. Denise says, I'm here all morning. Yes, fantastic. Jessica, thank you so much for your time and your contribution to this platform. And I look forward to seeing you very soon.
Thank you. Bye, ladies.
We'll see you soon. Bye, ladies.